Reddit. What is the worst secret your significant other is keeping from you, but that you actually know? Story 1. Ex-girl. She had a fairly large scar on her back and was incredibly self-conscious about it. She wouldn't even take her shirt off the first time we had sex. When I asked her about it, she said she had fallen from her horse when she was young. Fast forward a little and I'm out finding her a birthday present and have enlisted the help of her friend. I pick out a sexy singlet and her friend just looks at me like I'm stupid. Apparently, the scar on her back, which the singlet clearly revealed, wasn't from a fall, but from her ex-boyfriend who had pushed her onto his motorbike's exhaust pipe and burnt her. We ended on good terms and I never told her I knew. I hope she is doing well. Story 2. A girl I dated a few years back had just graduated with her bachelor's, so I took her out for a night on the town. Her and our friends got absolutely demolished, and since this was before Uber, I volunteered to be DD. So, around 2 a.m. she's tanked, we head out, and she wants Crystal's Burgers. Very adamant about that, so I stop by Crystal's and order a steamer pack so I can have some too and then have leftovers. She eats somewhere around 8, I get her home, get her into her bed, and she immediately passes out. I am sitting next to her watching some TV when I smell something. I notice that she has just shat herself. She is one of those people who would be so ashamed of herself if anyone found out, so I just left. I called her the next day and told her I dropped her off, got her some water and headed home. Never mentioned to her about her taking a dump or anything, so to this day she thinks she did it in her sleep after I left. I could have stayed and helped her clean it up, and I probably should have, but she would have cried over that and avoided me sporadically for weeks. Story 3. My ex made up a person and spoke to me as them. We met when we were quite young and were both pretty weird. I put it down to insecurity and wanting to look like she had cool friends. I was a little older. I never let on that I knew because it would have been super embarrassing for her, and this was literally the start of the relationship. She made up quite a few stories about this guy, and I got a few emails from him. She didn't realize that changing the name of the account didn't actually change the address, which was fully visible. Story 4. When we were in the hospital for some weird pain that I had, uninsured, and the doctors thought it might be cancer, I lost it a bit. She was so brave for me. But her mother called. She went into the bathroom to talk, but she didn't know that the sound echoed pretty loudly into the room. I heard her break down, sobbing, telling her mom she didn't know how we were going to pay for treatment and that it looked really bad. I'll never tell her I heard her, but God, it was heartbreaking. When she came out, you wouldn't even know she was even upset. She hid it so well. She sat right down and told me everything was going to be fine with such determination and such certainty. Literally took out her computer then and there and started making a spreadsheet of our finances to fit in cancer. I knew how much she loved me in that moment and how important it was for her that she was brave for me. I don't know why, but I got so calm after that. I haven't broken down like that since, even with worse news. I guess she makes me strong. Gosh, I love her. Story 5. My wife dropped my iPhone in a porta-potty toilet. Luckily, it has been so used there was a large pile of turd which gently held the phone above the liquid. She cleaned it off and gave it back to me. A year later, I upgraded and gave her my old phone. She insisted on purchasing a new cover even though I had a high-end OtterBox. I never understood why until one of the kids told on her. Story 6. His affair. I knew for 3 weeks before he left to look after his allegedly sick dad, and for 2 weeks after before I told him I knew. He said last week he's ended it and sees what he has missed, but I know he's still sleeping and living with her whilst messaging me. Basically, what he just did to me. I'm his wife. We were together 12 years. He just can't stop lying. He may be genuinely remorseful right now, but I can't get past his deceit. Story 7. My soon-to-be ex-wife met another guy about 1.5 years ago. She was so bad at hiding it that I thought she wanted to get caught. posting romantic stuff on her Instagram when we hadn't been romantic in a long time. Confronted her, lied even with solid evidence. A few months later, stuff starts disappearing from the house, pretty obvious that she's moving out. Then we started to have no money every month, and I have a pretty okay job. Realized she was stealing money basically by paying her bills twice a month with 3-4x the minimum payment and not paying mine. Let it go on for a bit and finally confronted her. She doesn't admit to it. I finally just pull my check from our joint account and she says she's leaving but is going to be homeless. The next day she had changed her Facebook back to her maiden name and had a picture of her and the other guy at their new place. I don't know if this counts. Story 8. She had sex with my boss before we knew each other, before I'd been hired into the company. I'm not mad about it or anything, everyone has a past, but she carefully dances around ever coming into my work now, and I'm careful not to bring him up. Story 9. He spent a ton of money on Bruins tickets this year. Whenever he got tickets to a match, he claimed he got them for free through work or downplays the cost, but I know he paid for them. I don't really mind since he can spend his money how he wants, but it's funny to me that he thinks I wouldn't realize he's spending a few $100 every time he goes to a game. Story 10. We were long distance when we first started dating. The one time she came up to where I live for 4 days, but I had to work during one of the days. When I was gone, she had to take a dump and clog the toilet. She couldn't get it to plunge and was freaking out, so she went to the kitchen and got a fork and a plastic bag and dug the turds out of the bowl and threw everything in the dumpster out back. She called her friend panicking, and the friend thought it was hilarious. Friend told me about it one night when the girl had left the room after we moved in together. I find it funny but don't want to embarrass her. Story 11. He had always said he hates to cuddle at night because it gets hot or it's uncomfortable or that I hog the blankets, etc. However, when he thinks I'm asleep, he'll scoot over and wrap his body around me. If I even make a move like I'm awake, he'll run back to his side and pretend it never happened. I think it's freaking adorable. Story 12. This is a past tense secret, but my girlfriend at the time decided to surprise me by buying a holiday to Brussels for us over my 30th birthday. I accidentally intercepted the hotel confirmation email, so decided it was a good time to propose, as I'd been considering it for about 6 months. Act all surprised when she tells me. Then when we're having dinner in the restaurant on the first night, I get down on one knee and propose, celebrating our 3-year wedding anniversary at the end of next month. Story 13. Okay, so I found out my fiancé was wanting to ask me to marry him, but wanted to get a super expensive ring for me, so it was taking time to save up. I don't give a crap about that type of thing. I'd marry him without a ring. That's not what's important to me. So I went to his mom and told her what I knew, and she told me we should go look at rings together so maybe I could pick something less expensive so she could tell him we had been shopping and I had fallen in love with a ring that he could afford. I know, I'm sneaky. Anyway, I found an incredible ring that was normally $500 but on sale for $100. I bought the ring and she called him and told him what she did. He was so happy. He asked me to marry him on Christmas Eve, and it was by far one of the best days of my life. He has no clue that I was involved in the purchase, so he's keeping the secret that he doesn't know that I know. Story 14. He has been hiding he's autistic from me for 10 years. Should clarify it's a long-running on-again, off-again thing between us, but even when it's off, we were still good friends. He suffered from his previous experience with therapy and because of it thinks hiding his autism is the most important thing. Except that's like trying to hide an elephant in a bathroom, and he's not always super high functioning. So it's always a weird charade of me pretending he's not autistic while busting my ass to gently handle that. I have no idea how to talk to him about it. I know he has a formal diagnosis. He was so traumatized from institutional medical abuse in the name of therapy that even mentioning it or acknowledging it can cause him to have a meltdown. He thinks if I knew, I wouldn't love him anymore, but I've known for years, and I still love him. I like him just how he is. I just want things to be easier and less scary for him. And I don't know how to help most of the time because he won't admit the problem. Story 15. It was an ex of mine. Sometime into the relationship, I find out I'm just the guy she's using to cheat on the other dude who she's been dating before me. It crushed me because she was the first girl I really loved and did absolutely everything and anything for her. Kept the relationship going without letting her know, and then tipped off the other dude and confronted her and broke up with her on the same day that dude broke up. She deserved it, but I never really fully moved on. It's been years and haven't had a relationship after that.
Thank you all for watching. Please leave your story down in the comment below. There's a good chance that it could end up in a future video. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, as it would really help out the channel.